Right now at 6, we've got heat advisories to take us through the rest of the weekend, but a chance for some severe weather too possible tonight. Forecast coming up.
Plus, a mutual aid group in Joplin hosts a fundraiser for summer supplies. Also, we'll take you to the Miami Senior Center for a summer shopping bash. And thousands expected to take to the streets today for March for Our Lives rallies. You're watching the KOAM News at 6, and it starts right now. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Chris Warner. Summer has arrived. The heat is here. It's going to be hotter tomorrow, and we may even have some thunderstorms. We're going straight to meteorologist Nick Kelly for the latest.
Yeah, we're probably going to get a little bit of everything with the way things are looking this evening, Chris, but at least throughout the day, we've been keeping things dry. Mostly sunny skies right now from 7th and Range Line, but that has allowed temperatures to push near 90, lower 90s not too long ago across much of the area, but the humidity, not just the humidity coming in, but from all the rain we've seen over the past several days, it is pushing it to where it's feeling like the upper 90s across much of southwest Missouri, and even some triple digits popping up across parts of southeast Kansas. So for this evening, still a heat advisory for Nowata, Washington, and Craig counties until we hit 8 o'clock. Everybody's going to have to deal with the heat advisories through tomorrow and up until about 8 o'clock tomorrow evening. But I want to show you the radar, because we're not seeing anything right now. But look at these storms really getting going just to the north, right along the Kansas-Nebraska line, and more storms developing around the Omaha area. Quick look at how these things might unfold throughout the course of the evening. I think there's a decent chance that some of these storms will be clipping parts of the area late tonight into early Sunday morning. Some of these could pack a punch if they can make the journey through here. We'll see what the threats might entail and how we look for the week ahead, because it's going to be a hot week ahead, Chris. We'll break it all down here in a few.
All right, Nick, thank you. Food Not Bombs is a mutual aid group in Joplin that aims to help out the area's houseless community. Everything they supply comes from members of the group. As we approach summer, they're in need of more supplies. On Saturday, they held a fundraiser at Old Broadway Club to be able to get those supplies, such as hydration packets, water, and other needs.
The money for the fundraiser will go toward buying summer supplies. It's just so important that the houseless community stay hydrated during the summer. We will buy the electrolyte packets just so there's no fatalities this summer from dehydration.
The fundraiser will go on tonight at the Old Broadway Club in Joplin until 9 p.m. Well, today in Miami, the Four States Crafters Group held an event today for vendors at the Miami Senior Center. The goal is to give people in the community a chance to come together through shopping while giving vendors an opportunity to sell their goods. Some items there included custom clothes, jewelry, and sculptures.
It brings the community together. Getting the community out and bringing everybody together is a real important thing.
The event had more than 15 vendors. Well, today marks the 10-year anniversary of 24 Fitness Gym. Today, they're celebrating by having vendors and giving people the chance to lift and hit personal marks in the bench press. Gym started out with one location in Carthage and has now grown to 5 locations in southwest Missouri.
At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. It's just literally all about setting a community standard and knowing that we're all here to help everyone, whether it's in the gym or just in day-to-day life. Like, we've all just got each other's backs.
They plan to open 2 more locations in 2023. Young anglers had the opportunity today to catch some fish and learn about fishing, conservation, and just have some fun at the 21st Annual Kids Fishing Day at Kellogg Lake in Carthage. Participants brought their own fishing equipment, but the Missouri Department of Conservation and Carthage Rotary provided refreshments and worms to everyone for free.
That's what this whole event is about, is giving the children an opportunity to find a lifetime event that they can participate in.
Anyone in Missouri can fish this weekend for free, even without a fishing license. Wednesday was World Oceans Day, but to help celebrate, the Creative Learning Alliance Center in Joplin set up experiments and crafts for kids to learn about how to save the earth, keep our water clean, and so much more. The Creative Learning Alliance is excited to help kids learn hands-on and make it fun at the same time.
I get the enjoyment of watching the light bulb go on in a very real, hands-on way for kids, in a very non-textbook, non-school feeling kind of way. So even though we love the learning that they do at school, we also love the learning that they do out in the world.
If you'd like to learn more about the Creative Learning Alliance, you can go to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Tens of thousands of people in more than 400 cities across the country marched and demonstrated today, hoping to pressure Congress to pass gun control legislation. Natalie Brand was at the March for Our Lives rally in Washington, D.C.
Gun violence has got to go.
From Fort Worth, Texas to New York City, Minneapolis to Parkland, Florida, Americans took to the streets to demand stronger gun laws.
Now! Now!
One of the biggest rallies, Washington, D.C., drawing an estimated 40,000.
All Americans have a right to safety.
The first March for Our Lives took place in 2018 after the massacre at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. Jay Doyle's son survived the shooting.
He was there that day. He ended up being locked in a closet for 90 minutes.
The entire Doyle family traveled to D.C. for the original march. Jay returned this year.
Still trying to get some incredibly common sense rules and regulations put in place. That to me is the most disappointing thing.
The Parkland massacre pushed the Republican-controlled state legislature in Florida to enact sweeping reforms, including raising the age to purchase firearms to 21, waiting periods, and red flag laws that allow courts to bar an individual deemed to be a danger from possessing a firearm. Parkland's former mayor, Christine Hunchofsky, is now a Florida state representative.
If you look at where the American people are on this, there is such strong support for universal background checks, such strong support for red flag laws.
Zoe Torre survived the mass shooting at Michigan's Oxford High School last November.
It's definitely still traumatic.
The shooting compelled her to become involved in the youth-led March for Our Lives organization.
What is your message to lawmakers?
That we will not stop. We won't stop until we rectify this issue.
This week, the Democratic House passed a series of gun control measures. They are not expected to pass the evenly divided Senate, but negotiations continue on a more narrow set of reforms. Advocates here say action is long past due. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
We take this time now to honor one of our many four-state heroes. Tech Sergeant James Brooks served in the Air Force during World War II. He was taken as a prisoner of war and walked 600 miles across Germany in the Black March, his hometown, Pittsburgh. And we're proud to recognize Tech Sergeant James Brooks, tonight's four-state hero. And of course, you want to learn more about our other heroes or nominate one of your own at any time, you can do that at KOAMnewsnow.com. After the break, the FDA has news regarding Moderna's COVID vaccine for kids under 5, plus a look at a unique vending machine in Nevada that's not dispensing candy or soda. Well, work is continuing on the KOAM More Power project, so here's what's about to happen. If your signal of KOAM or Fox 14 becomes a bit glitchy next week, it's actually a sign of progress. See, we're going to be broadcasting from a lower powered temporary antenna while a crew installs a new, more technically advanced and more powerful antenna at the top of our tower. It's the final step in this project. This will allow viewers who previously lost our signal to get it back again. If everything goes right, we're going to have it back up by the end of June. Well, some promising news from the FDA about Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine for children under 5. New documents highlight the immune response from Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine in young children is looking favorable. This data comes ahead of meetings with the FDA's Independent Vaccine Advisory Group. They're discussing if the vaccine should get emergency use authorization for 6 months through 6 years old. In their trials, they found 2 doses of 25 micrograms 28 days apart gave similar immune responses to vaccines given to 18 to 25-year-olds. It's estimated to be around 36% effective against symptomatic disease for 2 through 5 years and 50% for 6 through 23 months. The vaccine was tested on the children when Omicron was dominant. Injection site pain was the most common reaction. FDA also saying that adverse reactions were uncommon. The trials included more than 6,000 children. Children under 5 are the only group that has not had authorization to get the vaccine. It's easier than ever to get a COVID test in Nevada. All you got to do is visit a vending machine. Now, so far, 2 machines are ready to use. One is at the Mesa View Regional Hospital, the other at the Bonneville Transit Center bus station. Here's how they work. Anyone can scan a QR code on the machine to get a PIN number. Type that PIN into the machine and it will dispense a free at-home COVID test. People can do it up to 5 times a month. The machines are funded by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Health experts say they can help overcome barriers to testing like appointment making, payment, and location. A side effect of long COVID and a significant decline in cancer screenings. Elise Preston looks at some of the week's top health stories.
A new study finds overall cancer screenings in the U.S. declined significantly during the pandemic. Research at the American Cancer Society confirms drop-offs by the millions in screening rates for breast, cervical, and colorectal cancer in 2020. The results showed the decline disproportionately impacted people of color and people of low income. More than 40% of patients battling long COVID experience moderate to severe sleep disturbances. Doctors at Cleveland Clinic say Black patients are 3 times more likely to deal with those sleep disturbances. Long COVID patients with higher body mass indexes or struggling with anxiety disorders are also impacted. And a new report in the American Journal of Preventative Medicine finds binge drinking is a public health concern even for moderate adult drinkers. Researchers found people who consumed multiple drinks in one night were almost 5 times more likely to experience multiple alcohol problems than someone whose total consumption is a daily drink with dinner. Those are some of the week's top health stories. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
Later, we're all familiar with Dijon mustard, but what about Dijon ice cream?
But first, we got to deal with a chance for severe weather tonight and a lot of heat, not just for tomorrow, but the week ahead. Forecast next. While the big story continues to be the building heat and humidity as we go through the rest of the weekend and next week, we have something else to keep a very close eye on as we go through the late night hours and possibly into early Sunday morning. That's thunderstorms that actually blossomed earlier this afternoon. Then they're trying to make a dive toward the south, maybe a bit more toward the southeast as these storms get tall enough and try to get steered more to the southeast with the upper level winds aloft. But nonetheless, that is a potent complex of storms, and that has actually triggered a severe thunderstorm watch, clipping our very far northern counties until midnight. We just need to see how these storms evolve as we go throughout the course of the evening, something of course we'll keep a very close eye on. In the short term, our heat and humidity hasn't resulted in anything. We're dry to start the evening out, but what started out for this evening as a heat advisory for Nowata, Washington, and Craig counties in northeast Oklahoma, everybody's got to deal with it as we go through tomorrow afternoon and up until about 8 o'clock as we go into Sunday. Yeah, definitely a hot and humid end of the weekend lined up for tomorrow. For the time being, though, we're looking okay from 7th and Range line. It's hot and humid, though, no doubt about it. 90 degrees for the south and the 15, pumping the humidity up. Even though the humidity itself is at 59%, we are that dew point of 74 is taking all of these temperatures either near 90 or in the lower 90s and making it feel like the upper 90s to almost 103, 104 degrees as this evening gets underway. Not only are we tracking that for the next few days and possibly through much of next week, our other short-term focus is this area of thunderstorms that developed ahead of a dying warm front and certainly a surface trough, a wind shift line, but it is potent enough to get these storms going. And we're waiting to see if the northwest flow can steer these more toward the southeast, but this is an area that we're going to watch before we see the upper level ridge really take control coming in from the south. That is our main driver for the heat and humidity that we'll see tomorrow and throughout much of next week. Regarding those storms to the north, it's going to be a bigger issue for the Kansas City metro, but we are being clipped by a low severe threat. I'm thinking between 9 o'clock tonight until 2 a.m. Sunday. That seems to be the ideal time frame if these storms can make it through the region. And if they can, I think wind and rain are going to be the biggest threats, maybe some large hail, and I'm not going to rule out maybe an isolated tornado. So the future track, this version of it, which I think verifies well enough, once these storms continue to take a southerly dive, but I would not be surprised again if it takes more of a southeasterly track, but I think some of us may have to deal with these thunderstorms that could pack a punch late tonight, going through the overnight, but once we hit sunrise, we'll be mostly cloudy to start the morning out, but we should be dry. Then we're just going to deal with partly sunny skies, no rain to worry about for tomorrow. But it's going to be hot and humid. 74 in the morning, 89 by noon, pushing highs near 95. And the humidity you'll see for tomorrow could make it feel like it's between 100 and maybe 107 degrees for some. And a quick look at Monday's numbers, back in the mid-90s for highs, and we're definitely going to do it again with the heat indices between 100 and 105. So we'll deal with the storms tonight if they can survive the journey in here. But 95 and dry tomorrow, 94 Monday, 93 Tuesday, staying in the lower 90s through much of next week, Chris, and maybe a random storm or two Thursday and Friday.
A lot to watch, especially over the next 24, 48 hours here. So
yeah, it seemed like a mouthful to get through, but we will stay on top of everything through the evening.
All right, Nick, thank you. Turning sports, Cardinals at home today, hosting the Reds.
Yeah, St. Louis won the series opener. They're going for back-to-back wins today. We've got those highlights. Plus, Pittsburgh Post 64 hits the field against the Redbirds in pool play. Those highlights next. Pittsburgh Post 64 and Redbirds baseball meet today in pool play. It's both teams' second game of the tournament. The Redbirds are 1-0 in pool play. The Patriots tied in their first game. Cooper Hamlin, really good behind the dish, gets the runner out at second for the third out. Then he picks off another at first. But the Redbirds get a few in the fourth. Christian Brock grounds out to the shortstop. Gage Chapman scores from third to extend the lead. Later in the sixth, Eli Miller hammers it deep to right center. That's a triple. And Sam Weller brings him in. He smacks it out to right. Miller scores and the Redbirds top the Patriots 5-1. The Joplin Outlaws dipped below 500 on Friday after falling to Chillicothe 12-10. Tonight, the Outlaws have a chance at revenge, playing another against the Mudcats. First pitch is at 7 p.m. We'll have the updates right here at 10. Division I baseball championship here in the Super Regionals. Oklahoma falls to Virginia Tech this morning 14-8. The series is now tied at 1 game apiece, and a decisive Game 3 will be played tomorrow at noon. Arkansas also still alive in the postseason. The Razorbacks opened up their Super Regional series against the Tar Heels today. Arkansas wins it 4-1 to take the series lead. The St. Louis Cardinals snapped a 3-game losing streak on Friday in their series opener against the Reds. The Cards won that one 2-0. Back in action today, looking for back-to-back wins. No score in the third. Tommy Pham rips a double down the line. 2 runners score, and a few batters later, Kyle Farmer lines one to left. Reds lead 3-0. In the 8th, Cardinals down by 3. Tyler O'Neill smacks it in the gap in center. That cuts the Reds' lead to 1. And then St. Louis down to its final out here with 1 runner on. Tommy Edman comes up big. That ball is gone. Walk-off 2-run shot for Edman, his first career walk-off homer. Cardinals win 5-4. Kansas City looking for their 4th straight win tonight, but Baltimore spoils it. Orioles win 6-4. Series finale is tomorrow at 1:10. That's it for sports. Up next, a new ice cream is out just in time for the summer heat. Details next.
Well, pardon me, do you have any Grey Poupon ice cream? That's right. The famed Dijon mustard brand is now available for a summer treat. New York-based Van Leeuwen Ice Cream's newest collaboration is with the French brand. The Grey Poupon with salted with pretzels is one of 5 flavors included in their summer-inspired launch. The other 4 are Summer Peach Crisp, Honey Cornbread with Strawberry Jam, Espresso Fior de Latte Chip, and Campfire S'mores. Previous ice cream flavors include a Popeye-themed a spinach and a Kraft macaroni and cheese. You can get the Grey Poupon flavor at Walmart for a limited time. So I think we're just going to leave now and head straight to Walmart and get some mustard cream.
Yeah, you two can do that. I'm going to stay here.
Absolutely not.
We do have some storms possibly on the way.
They're going to try to come in from the north for some of us late this evening. I'll keep my eye on that. But one thing is for sure, it's not going to scrub the heat and humidity out. We'll be hot and humid again tomorrow with highs near 95.
All right, guys, thank you so much. That's our time for now. Remember, we're always on at KOAMNewsNow.com. Thanks for making us part of your night.
Salon service